The Atlanta Braves have yet to lose a series on the year, but that's at stake this afternoon in the series finale between the Braves and the Phillies. This is your 10-minute scouting report for today's game. This is your Braves Today Scouting Report, a production of the Believe Podcast Network and presented to you by FanDuel. I'm Lindsey Crosby. In the next 10 minutes, we're breaking down everything you need to know before first pitch. Today, it's the Braves and the Phillies in the series finale, so let's talk about it. Atlanta has their lineup, and this is a little bit of a different lineup than facing a right-hander than you would have expected. The top of the lineup is still kind of similar. Ronald Acuna Jr. leading off in right field, Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies. Michael Harris II, still nursing that tight quad, plays designated hitter, batting fifth, like he did last night. Austin Riley's batting sixth, and here's where you get to the differences. Shortstop Mauricio Dubon moves to left field, batting seventh. Center fielder Eli White batting eighth, and shortstop Jorge Mateo batting ninth. So Mike Yastrzemski, despite the fact the Braves are facing a righty, is out of the lineup on Sunday. We don't yet know. Media with Walt Weiss hasn't started yet. We don't yet know if this is just a rest day or something else. I'm sure we'll find out in a little while why they set the lineup up the way that they did. For the Phillies, this is a similar lineup to what we usually see, with one significant addition that is really interesting. So Trey Turner, Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, 1 through 3. That's just going to be what they always do. Felix Reyes, the prospect who was called up last week for the series, is batting cleanup. And you'll see that he has 1 home run and 1 RBI in his major league career so far. That was on the very first pitch he saw off of Chris Sale last weekend. The very first pitch of his major league career, he took Chris Sale deep for a home run. He is batting cleanup for the Phillies today. They move Adolis Garcia to fifth. Playing right field. Alec Boehm batting sixth, playing third base. Edmundo Sosa checks in for Bryson Stott at second base, batting seventh. They're giving utility man Dylan Moore a start in center field, batting eighth. He is still hitless on the year, but it's been mostly just fill-in stuff here and there. And catcher Rafael Marchand batting ninth. Because it is a lefty on the mound, this is a very right-handed heavy lineup, which makes a ton of sense if you think about it. Schwarber, Harper are both lefties. They're going to be in the lineup every day no matter what. Marchand batting ninth is a switch hitter, but I'm willing to bet that once Chris Sale is out of the game, if Atlanta's not going to their lefty relievers, you're going to see Brandon Marsh come off the bench. You're going to see Bryson Stott come off the bench. You're going to see possibly Justin Crawford come in for defense in center field. He's also a lefty hitter. And so you're going to see them be aggressive with substitutions later in the game. The starter for Philly is Aaron Nola. And his season so far has not necessarily been great. Right now, he has a 5.06 ERA and a 1-2 record. And that's a little bit unlucky, right? 4.73 expected ERA, 4.05 field and independent pitching, but he's not been great. His fastballs collectively, he throws a four-seamer, a sinker, and a cutter. He's averaging 91.4 miles an hour on his fastballs. And together, that pitch group for him, third percentile in baseball at -6 run value. He's really struggled, but his knuckle curve continues to be one of the better pitches in the game. When you look at how he attacked hitters here against lefties, he's throwing a lot of fastballs early, and it's the four-seamer's the primary one, 41.6% of the time in the early count, but he does mix in that sinker and the cutter. So about half the time, you're getting some variation of a fastball early in counts from Aaron Nola. When he's behind, he goes to even more fastballs, specifically ramping up the sinker. When he gets later in the at-bat, the changeup becomes a bigger weapon. And then his put away pitch, as you can imagine, with 2 strikes, is the knuckle curve. Although, watch, he does like to throw the sinker on 2 strike counts. That's the most common time in the at bat that he'll use it versus a lefty. For a righty, it's a really kind of balanced 3-pitch mix between the knuckle curve, the sinker, and the 4-seam. He throws a lot of those knuckle curves later in the count when he's behind, unlike how he approaches lefties. Aaron Nola likes to throw the knuckle curve when he's behind in the count to get back into it, which is just different. A lot of pitchers go fastball heavy when they're behind in the count. 2 strikes, he does use that knuckle curve as the put-away pitch, which makes a lot of sense. But he also throws a surprising number of 4-seamers in that situation as well. That's the most common time to get a 4-seamer, is when he has you down 2 strikes. So interesting there. And when you talk about the sequencing, it is very rare for Aaron Nola to get to 3-ball counts. Against lefties, it's also kind of rare that he gets to an 0-2 count. But the thing that you need to know is against right-handed pitching this season, he has been very, very good at throwing first pitch strikes. So that means that Braves right-handed hitters in the lineup are going to have an opportunity to jump on Aaron Nola. And the good news is a lot of Braves hitters have a lot of experience against Aaron Nola, and it's really good. Ozzie Albies in 67 at-bats has a 284 average. Austin Riley in 57 at-bats has a 386 average, a 1206 OPS, 6 home runs, and 11 RBI. Ronald Acuna Jr. is batting 308 with a 1,025 OPS in 52 at-bats. Olsen and Harris are batting 250 and 259, but they each have 3 home runs. There's just a lot of experience and good experience off of Aaron Nola in Atlanta's lineup. When you look at the bullpens for both teams, for the Braves, the only relievers they used yesterday, because they got 7 strong from Bryce Elder, they used Tyler Kinley, they used Dylan Lee, they used Jose Suarez. We're not going to talk about using Suarez in the 10th. We'll get to that some other day. But Robert Suarez, Joe Payamps, Aaron Bummer, Martin Perez, they all had the day off yesterday. They're going to be the freshest relievers today. But I would imagine, given that Monday's an off day, Tyler Kinley and Dylan Lee are both available if Atlanta needs them to go. My question is going to be, do you really want to do that? Dylan Lee has made 3 appearances in the last 4 days. And Tyler Kinley threw 24 pitches last night. So do you want to use them here and just overexpose them a little bit? That's really going to kind of be the question there. I would imagine, though, given that the series wins on the line, given that tomorrow's an off day, everybody's on the table for Atlanta. When you look at Philly, they are kind of in a similar situation here. Phillies used just about everybody, right? The only guys they gave off were 2 middle relievers, Tim Meza, who's a lefty, and Chase Schugerts, who's a righty. Everybody else has pitched in the last day. Everybody's pitched in the last 2, but some of these pitch counts are climbing. Orion Kerkering, 37 pitches in the last 3 days. Jose Alvarado has 27 in the last 3 days. But I would imagine Rob Thompson is going to use any reliever he needs to use to get a win because they have lost 5 consecutive series. Kind of final thoughts on this one here. Watch for Alec Bohm. I know that we always talk about the big 3 of Harper and Schwarber and Trey Turner. Schwarber is hitting 294 with 2 homers and 4 RBI off a sale. Trey Turner is hitting 313. Harper's hitting 167. But Alec Bohm, off of Chris Sale, he has a 313 average in 16 at-bats. So we're definitely looking out for that. Atlanta's favored by a 1.5 in this one. It's FanDuel, Braves Today's Monster FanDuel projects it to be a low-scoring game. I do think it has the potential to be a weird one. Nothing about Braves Phillies is ever kind of normal. So we'll see what happens in this one. but I absolutely do like it. That's your Braves Today scouting report. If you want the deeper analysis, lineup breakdowns, and everything behind the numbers, make sure you're subscribed to Braves Today. Enjoy the game. We'll be back after it with the postcast over on Locked On Sports Atlanta and today's 3 things over at bravestoday.com.